I'm one of the original, along with Bob Axelrod and Barbara. And it's really strange the way it happened. I don't remember Barbara being in the room, and Tony's not here with us right now. But Tony hauled us all in. You know, we're all kind of a club at this point, and we've been doing, whatever all those other shows were that Saban did prior. We taught him everything. He knew nothing about any of it. And these are the shows prior to Power Rangers. So Tony brought us into the studio, and he brought Mike Sorich, who's not here today, and Dave Mallow. And Tony kind of already pretty much chosen who's going to play what in this promo. And he kind of divvied out the roles like cards. And everybody got their role but me. And I'm standing there going, well, whatever. I guess I'm not going to get it. Oh, well, which was okay. Whatever. Then he says, oh, yeah, Karen, you're going to do this guy with these wings. I don't think he has much of a part, but I think he'll do okay with the voice on him. I said, okay. And he popped up, and I think I had one line in the promo. And that's pretty much how it went down. I didn't think the thing was going to go. It seemed really weird, and I thought, we'll never have to do this again anyway. So nailed that one. And I'm sure some of you recognized over the first season that my voice. A lot of people think, oh, somebody else did it the first season. No, that was me trying to figure out what the hell I was doing. So I went down into this little basement that I had, realizing I couldn't sustain the voice. I didn't know what I was doing with this voice, and it was killing me. It's like, I can't sustain this. And so sometime in the first season, I went down in the basement and decided it was time to figure out how to make it work. And I spent about an hour with it and figured out how to get a lot of air into the voice and kind of rolling over the chords. And that's where Goldar was found, in my basement, where I played drums, as a Hammond 4/4 time drummer to different songs. And I figured out how to do it, and it was a relief. And I knew when I had it, when I hit it, I was like, there it is. And I could record him about 45 minutes, and I was, still good. After that, though, that was it. I had a 45-minute rule. So that's where that's where the casting of all these characters came from, out of that room. And the show went, and we all wound up playing the roles we were handed, and we were literally handed those roles. And there you go.
The only reason why I'm sitting here amongst these many talented actors is because I cold called. I didn't know who Saban was. I didn't know what Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was. But I was looking in Hollywood Reporter, and I was calling a bunch of production companies because I was looking for a job. And the person on the other end of the phone, who's no longer with us, that Karen Carter, is responsible for me probably being here right now, because she took a chance on me and asked me to come in. And the first job I got was Orc the Conqueror.
I got a call that the show was looking for some whacked out cartoonist. And I wasn't really that familiar with the show, to be honest with you. And I was one of the Power Rangers, but Beetleborgs was relatively new. And so it kind of happened where, this is how it actually happened. I was really late. And I had woke up and I had really bad head. My hair was freaking all over the place. And I said, you know what, I'm going to go with it. So I spiked up some of my hair. And I did the first reading in Burbank. I had no idea. I just went in and did the reading. And that's cool. And I left and they called me back. And I had the second reading out at the studios in Valencia. And Bob Hughes and all the production people were in there. And they had this big conference room. Tables. And then there's like 10 people there. And I went in and I did this Les Fortunes guy. And we did. My audition piece was when he got cartoonist cramp. Oh, cartoonist cramp! Ah! And I had this part, and I got this cramp. in my hand, and I was just flying all over the room because that's what they really wanted. They wanted some guy that was out of his mind, so I just got in my mind. And I flew back against this wall, and there was a wall right behind me. There was a picture frame on the wall, and it fell down and it cracked and it broke. So they did. I flew at it, bam! It falls down, picture breaks, and I was like, oh shit. And I continued to sing, and the producer just went like this, goes, that was perfect, dude, you know? I guess they wanted somebody that would just kind of just lose their mind, you know, and fly around. And I got done doing the reading, and then we talked about it. And then they wanted me to do it again. And he said, you gotta remember who the audience is. I said, well, who's the audience? He says, well, they're kids. I said, okay. So fast is funny. Fast is funny, okay. So really what they wanted was somebody that would talk fast, say fast stuff, slide around, fall down, bang against walls, and they thought I was the guy. And I got the part. And and then after that, it was just like you just hopped onto a moving train. They were already shooting, and next thing you know, you're showing up, they're giving you your outfit, and we did what, 40, 50 something like that. And but I will tell you what, for me personally, I kind of forgot about the show. You know, I've been busy doing a lot of other things. And the first year they had this thing, I didn't know what to expect. And then this year, I gotta tell you something, this is fantastic. You guys are amazing. Seriously. I had a guy come up to me who had found me on either MySpace or Facebook years ago. And he sounded depressed, he wasn't doing so well. And it was concerning, you know, and I'm detached. This guy's talking to me, he knows about everything that I've done, and you know, I'm in my old world doing whatever I do, you know. And so I felt weird, so I asked him for his address, and I sent him a letter. And I sent him a headshot, and I signed it. This was 3-4 years ago, or more, 5 years ago. And he walked up to me yesterday, and he handed me a book. It's a little book that he published, his own writing, it's his own story, he's trying to sell it. And he said, I wrote this book because of the letter that you wrote me at the time that you sent it to me. That's amazing shit. Okay, I mean, it seriously is. Another girl who's here in the front row, Emily, she brought me a portrait yesterday. And she draws at Disneyland, and she's a character artist. And she drew this amazing portrait of myself as the character. And you know what we do is because of you guys. I mean, this is, to think about doing a show 14 years ago, and you guys are here right now, it's freaking amazing. You guys are awesome. And I would say probably the best part of it so far, and this is, the show seems to be growing. We only did 2 seasons. These guys did 15, you know, however many things. A guy was standing in front of me with his son, and his son was telling me all about the show. The guy was young. He was telling me like he'd been watching the show. He was telling me shit about the show I didn't even know. Okay? And I asked him, I said, how do you know so much about the show? He says, Netflix. I said, what? He says, Netflix. I go, how old are you? 12. Really? You know, we shot the show and you weren't born. Seriously, and his look on his face is like, what? He didn't get it, you know. I could see his eyes while trying to process what I was told. So these things live on, and it's amazing that you guys are here, and I appreciate your support. It was awesome seeing all you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, who are you people again?
Get it out.
I see, I'm sitting with all these amazing voice actors, and I do voice as well, but in the show, I didn't have a costume per se, as These guys had it more difficult than I did. I went in to audition not knowing what the hell I was going in for, number one. I was in Las Vegas working, and they flew me down to Los Angeles, and I walked into a room with 23 other people I had seen on every goddamn television show that was ever produced, and stood there and went, what the F am I doing in this room? I'm a movie actor. What the hell would I be doing here? I went in, I did the audition. I didn't move. I stood in one place and looked at 6 people, did the dialogue, and got on a plane and flew back to Las Vegas. 2 hours later, I got on another effing plane and flew back to Los Angeles to do it all again. Except there are only 12 people in the room now. And I still thought, what the am I doing in this room? So I went in and I did the audition again, and I stood there and did my thing and walked out and got on a plane and flew back to Las Vegas. They gave me a whole day this time. I had to come back to Los Angeles, and Jonathan had been sick. That's the producer. He hadn't seen me. So I got to do it with 4. I thought, this is ridiculous. Why don't they just tell me to stay in Las Vegas? I'm not going to get the job. I have no idea what it is. I didn't know what the Power Rangers was. I didn't watch kiddie porn or whatever it was. I was totally lost at where I was. Anyway, so I went in and did the audition, and lo and behold, I got the job. The amazing thing about it was that when they hired me as an actor to do the job the way I wanted to do it. So I actually got to decide a lot of how Rancic was. And the one thing I never wanted him to be was a cartoon character. I really wanted him to be real, in as much as we could make him, coming from a universe we don't know, but I wanted him to have all these different sides. You know, he had to have feelings, you had to feel sympathy for him, you had to be afraid of him. And the writers got into it. They gave a backstory to the character. If you remember, he had 3 episodes where they went back to explain how he became the way he was and why he was always drinking the serum and so forth and so on. They were amazing. They did a 2-part episode based on one of the films that I did, which was just incredible to be in. I had so much fun setting myself up. It was kind of fun to look at myself and go, God, you are so big-headed, you asshole. And it was really enjoyable. The show itself, I loved. The cast that I worked with, we all became this family. We loved each other. We had so much fun doing the show. I'll tell you a little story which was really funny. The first day I arrived on set, I knew nobody. I had never met the cast. I had never met anybody. I was in my trailer, and this gorgeous blonde girl came running across between trailers, leapt into my arms, wrapped her legs around my waist and went, God, you're gorgeous, who are you? And I went, I'm the bad guy, and I think I killed your boyfriend. And she got off my body and looked at me and went, I don't like you at all. And walked away, and that was my introduction to Erin Cahill, who to this day is my most favorite human being on this earth. Love her to death. And that's what I was like doing that show. I worked with Koichi, who is one of the most wonderful human beings to work with as a director and an action coordinator. I got to work with amazing people, and I was lucky that I could continue after these people, which had built up an amazing following that we just came in and sat on and continued the legacy, and God help us all, it's still going.